So I've been told recently that Adobe has, in fact, destroyed comics. So some of you who follow comics or just art might have seen this going around, this Adobe Max sneak at ComicBlast, this new program that they're promoting. In this video, they have a, I guess, playtester walk you through all the different things that you can do with this new program, and it's mostly all just automated AI stuff that is going to make your comic easier, but really it just cuts corners. And this got ratioed pretty heavily. It's usually not a good sign when you get half and half. But let's you and I look through the video and commentate on the different things that you can do with this ComicBlast program here. First of all, I want to say it's pretty obvious this girl does not make comics. I think it's 100% possible that she's just an employee at Adobe who was given a script.
But I think you will agree that designing comic like a pro is no easy task.
Designing comics like a pro is no easy task. Yes, you know that we design comics, right? But the real keywords here, I think, are like a pro. Right away, they're kind of advertising this as though you are going to have professional looking comics, as though this is how professional comics will be done. And I do think that that is an important marketing point that they're making in this video. Whether or not they meant to make that point, it's there.
And put them together, panel by panel, one by one, page by page.
So this is supposed to be showing you how tedious it is making comics when you have to drag and drop the art and the panels and the dialogue, and that's not how comics are made at all. Hindsight's 20/20, of course, but you should have 100% just cut this entire part of the video out of the promotional video. You look stupid showing this.
ComicBlast, a fun and easy way to create pro comic books. Let's have a look.
There, she said it again. An easy way to create pro comic books. Professional.
Scripts for comics typically follow a structure, and ComicBlast powerful AI algorithms have been trained to analyze such scripts and bubbles. All I need to do is import the script.
So she imports the script and she runs it through this program. And then it creates all of the word balloons and bubbles for her. And as you can see, they look absolutely awful. There's no room for the art. Everything is way too big. There's tangents. These balloons aren't even connected. But of course, what do you expect from an AI?
Creating comic books just became 100 times faster. I can even adjust the space between two panels or create new panels on the fly. I can even merge two speech bubbles into one by a
Okay, so everything...
simple drag and drop. After all...
Yeah, so everything that she's saying right now you can do on ClipArt Studio. And you can actually draw the comic on ClipArt Studio, so it's even better. This is for if you already have the art, which she'll go over later, but it's for if you have already sketched up the art and you want to import it into something that'll make it look more professional. This is the program to use.
To add the art, I simply import my hand-drawn sketch,
There it is,
which gets auto-traced instantaneously.
So basically, importing a sketch and then using a program to ink it. I imagine that it probably won't be as smooth as it turns out in this specific example, because I imagine that they're using specific art, specific assets that they have shown to give them what they think are the best results, because they want to show off in this video. So what you're seeing the AI do here probably doesn't work 100% of the time. There's probably a little bit of editing you have to do, a little bit of fixing. I just felt like that was important to point out.
So next time when reading a comic, I can add my own selfie to it.
Alright,
Ta-da!
so that's just plain witchcraft. I don't understand how any of that works.
Not only this, ComicBlast enables you to add cool motion graphic and animation to your comic books. For instance, in this frame, I can add a simple animation.
Now the idea is that your comic will be a motion comic, which I hate. I hate motion comics. I never understood how anyone could handle motion comics without feeling a little bit sick. They have motion comics on webtoons. Every time I accidentally start to read a comic and find out that it's a motion comic, I don't finish it. I just stop reading. But then again, maybe I just don't get motion comics. Maybe I'm just too old to get it. I will say when it comes to animating the comic book, it looks good for like a trailer. People can get a little bit interested in seeing comic books in motion for trailers or for videos used to promote the comic book, but I absolutely hate motion comics.
ComicBlast, a fun and easy way to create pro comic books that are beautiful, personalized, interactive, animated, and did I mention 100 times faster? Well, it is.
Alright, so professional comic books 100 times faster. Now, why is this 100 times faster? Well, don't need a letterer. You don't need to hire a letterer. If you're just literally importing in sketches that get inked with a program, you don't need an inker. I think they colored it in a different program, but if you wanted to make a motion comic, you don't need to hire an animator for that. You don't even need to hire an animator for a trailer, because I guess you could probably use this to put together a trailer too, right? Does this actually look professional? No. But for some people, this might be close enough, right? Now the question is, who is this necessarily for? Who would need to cut all of these corners? Well, some people are saying maybe it's for storyboarders or writers who want to get out their ideas to see what it would look like. It seems to me what they are advertising most importantly is the fact that it will be very fast and the fact that it'll look professional. So through my eyes, I think that this is mostly made for people who do webtoons, people who do webcomics. Because the thing about webcomics is you're expected to upload a new chapter weekly, and if you don't make your uploads, then you tend to lose a lot of readers and not make as much income. So I can definitely imagine that webcomic creators would want to cut more corners so that they can meet that deadline, especially when they're doing the webcomic all on their own, which usually they're doing it all by themselves. Especially the fact that they mention the motion graphics definitely makes me think of webcomics. I think the funny part is, this isn't even like a real script that they imported. If you actually read this text, this makes no sense. G-Talk City needs you. I need you. Depends, Blurrin. You have to choose an egg first, red or green. And then he chooses green. I didn't expect it. The only way left is Blurrin to save City from Master V's aggression. Wind got much colder in neighborhood as everything is going to perish. But anyway, Adobe is promoting this idea of automation to make comics faster. People are not happy about that idea, not only because it looks bad, but because theoretically you're cutting people out of their jobs. Eric Snowden at Adobe actually responded to some of the complaints about this. What he said was, I don't think we framed this right. We have a ton of respect for what you all do, and personally, I'm a huge comic book fan. I see this more as an exploration on how we could get new creators or kids to start making comics. Definitely not something a pro would pick up, which is very different from what we hear in the video when the person who is going through the program is saying, oh, this is how you get that professional look 100 times faster. Now, I'll give Eric Snowden this much. He does respond to all of the backlash professionally, and I know we should expect for professionalism from people whenever there is backlash. But the world is a funny place now. I do not think that this program is for kids, not only based on how they chose to advertise the program, but I'm pretty sure no kids will be getting an Adobe subscription. Maybe teenagers, maybe you could argue teenagers. I know a lot of them start, doing webcomics in high school, but not kids. Not anyone under 16 is going to be using this. There are actually comic apps and websites where you take assets and you know, put together your own comic. That is for kids. But I don't see kids putting together a comic script and using all this AI and coloring it up in this program or anything. So we have this video marketing it as something to make your comics look professional. We have Eric Snowden coming out and saying it's not something that a pro would pick up, and we're not trying to split up any comic teams or make it anything like that. I probably could actually imagine a scenario in which a big publisher would have some cross promotion with this program and like make a line of comics using it to cut corners. Now, I'm not saying they're big comics. Obviously, the comics that are selling well wouldn't get this program's treatment, but I could 100% seeing those lower comics, like just running a line of them, using this program to cut some people out of the equation and spend less money making the comics that are already not making enough money back. I don't think they made this with the same purpose and target audience as, say, for example, Clip Studio Paint and people who use it to make actual comic books. This seems more to be towards advertising art directors that need to get their ideas done as quick as possible without having to care too much about the art. Wow, this looks terrible. It's misleading to keep using the term professional when all the examples are pretty amateurish. You don't design comics, you make comics. Cool, this sucks. Dear Adobe, please consult with real artists before creating this kind of stuff. Actual comic artists are laughing their asses off at this. This is a tool for amateurs. This is painful. As a pro comic letterer, this is insulting. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that people don't really like it. So I don't see ComicBlast getting that much traction, maybe with some people who want to experiment with it a little bit, or like I said, webcomic creators might really want to look into this to help make their comics faster. Maybe some people who are curious about animating their comics without hiring an animator will look into this program. So it's not without its audience, but it's definitely marketed in a strange way to keep on using the term professional, keep on saying, oh, you can make your comics super fast if you just use these AI programs that also make it look super amateur. But definitely let me know what you think about the whole ComicBlast thing. Would you personally use this program, and if so, what for? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Program restart.